Keir Starmer is in the hot seat again, just hours after Tulip Siddiq's shocking resignation over alleged ties to a multi-billion-pound corruption scandal. The Labour leader is set to face a fiery grilling at PMQs. And trust us, the heat is coming from Kemi Badenoch, who isn't holding back. But before we dive into the latest twists and turns, check out this explosive clip of Conservative MP Dame Harriet Baldwin reacting to the breaking news. Her comments are setting Westminster ablaze. Don't miss this.
Breaking news now, and that's this, and that's the Treasury Minister Tulip Siddiq has left the government. Number 10 has just announced, just to repeat, breaking news. The under fire Treasury Minister Tulip Siddiq has left the government. Number 10 has just said, Dame Harriet Baldwin there is nodding along saying yes. This must come as no surprise to you.
She had to go. She wasn't there this afternoon sitting by the Chancellor's side, and all the other Treasury Ministers were. She's now being investigated for a second corruption investigation by the Bangladeshi government. And, you know, clearly the situation was untenable. She'd been given these flats in London. No one could quite understand why, but it was obviously to do with her closeness to the outgoing Bangladeshi government. So it was clearly an untenable situation.
And when you become the story for this many days in a row, it simply becomes too much noise, right? She had to go in the end.
She certainly did, and to have her in the role of anti-corruption minister just made us a laughingstock around the world. So, yeah, she had to go.
And this will trigger a by-election, will it? And that's in the neighbouring seat?
No, it will trigger a reshuffle.
Okay.
A reshuffle. So she's not resigning as an MP.
Why not?
She's resigning as a minister.
Well, surely, if she's been found wanting in terms of a minister, why does that not extend to her role as parliamentarian full stop?
Well, that would be a choice she would make. But also, I think the rules on a recall of MPs, it does take some time, and you have to have been convicted of something before they can start a recall in your constituency. So that would be more of a slow burn. But she had to go as a minister, and I'm glad to hear that she has.
OK, so just to repeat there, Treasury Minister, under fire Treasury Minister Tulip Siddiq there, Labour Party has left the government. Number 10 has just said that's just a breaking news line. No great surprises. And Dame Harriet Baldwin there, not at all surprised by that.
As the dust settles from Tulip Siddiq's dramatic resignation, Westminster is buzzing with speculation and finger-pointing. The timing couldn't be worse for Keir Starmer, who now has to defend his leadership amidst growing public doubt and political attacks. Siddiq, once considered a rising star within Labour, was forced to step down after allegations emerged tying her family to a corruption scandal involving an eye-watering £3.9 billion embezzled from Bangladeshi infrastructure projects. While Siddiq herself denies any wrongdoing and insists she has not breached the ministerial code, her resignation has left a dark cloud over Labour. In her letter to Starmer, Siddiq admitted that her role as Economic Secretary to the Treasury, particularly one focused on tackling corruption, had become a distraction. This resignation, paired with the allegations against her family, has handed Labour's critics ammunition to question the party's integrity and Starmer's judgment. The Labour leader's attempt to maintain composure is evident in his carefully worded response. He expressed sadness at Siddiq's departure, but underscored that an investigation by Sir Laurie Magnus found no evidence of misconduct on her part. However, critics argue that this investigation did little to address the optics of the situation, and Starmer's reluctance to take decisive action earlier has left him vulnerable to attacks from all sides. As if this scandal wasn't enough, Starmer now faces the formidable Kemi Badenoch at PMQs, a matchup that promises fireworks. Badenoch has wasted no time in framing Siddiq's resignation as emblematic of Labour's inability to manage its own ranks, let alone govern effectively. Reports suggest that Badenoch plans to hammer Starmer on Labour's so-called hypocrisy, particularly Siddiq's role as an anti-corruption minister, while these allegations loomed. Meanwhile, the political chatter surrounding Siddiq's resignation has grown louder, with Conservative MPs accusing Labour of failing to vet their candidates thoroughly. How can Starmer expect the public to trust him to run the country when he can't even ensure his ministers are free of controversy? One Tory backbencher remarked. Such criticisms add to the pressure already mounting on Labour as Starmer struggles to shift focus to his policy agenda. In the midst of this chaos, inflation figures offer a brief reprieve for Labour, though not without controversy. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, has dropped to 2.5%, providing Chancellor Rachel Reeves a rare opportunity to claim a victory in the ongoing economic turmoil. However, businesses have responded critically to Labour's recent tax hikes, claiming that the increased national insurance contributions are stifling growth and job creation. Reeves is expected to highlight the falling inflation rate during PMQs, but many analysts remain sceptical about Labour's ability to stabilise the economy long-term. Adding another layer of complexity is the brewing controversy over the Chagos Islands negotiations. Labour is facing backlash for allegedly offering significant financial concessions to Mauritius as part of a deal to relinquish sovereignty over the Chagos archipelago. This move has sparked outrage among critics who see it as a betrayal of British interests. Reports suggest that Labour has agreed to a staggering £9 billion compensation package to Mauritius, with additional annual payments to lease the Diego Garcia military base. The timing of these revelations is especially problematic for Starmer, as the deal appears to be on the fast track ahead of Donald Trump's return to the White House. Sources close to Trump have indicated his opposition to the agreement, viewing it as a threat to American security. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage, a staunch ally of Trump, has warned that the deal will face fierce resistance from the incoming administration. He called Labour's approach reckless, accusing them of prioritising political expediency over national security. These compounded controversies have created a perfect storm for Starmer, whose leadership is being tested like never before. The public is now left questioning Labour's ability to govern amidst allegations of corruption, economic mismanagement, and geopolitical blunders. Critics argue that Starmer's cautious approach to crises is beginning to look more like indecision, leaving him vulnerable to attacks from both political opponents and disillusioned voters. At PMQs, Badenoch is expected to deliver a stinging critique, leveraging the Siddiq resignation and the Chagos deal to question Starmer's fitness to lead. For his part, Starmer must attempt to deflect these attacks while convincing the public that his party remains focused on addressing the cost of living crisis and other pressing issues. However, with so many distractions, it remains unclear whether Labour can maintain its momentum as the next general election approaches. The stakes couldn't be higher for Starmer, as his handling of these controversies could determine Labour's trajectory in the months to come. Critics from within his own party are growing restless, with whispers of dissatisfaction over his cautious leadership style gaining traction. If Starmer cannot regain control of the narrative soon, he risks losing not only public trust, but also the confidence of his party. The coming weeks will be crucial for Labour as they navigate these crises. Starmer's ability to project strength and decisiveness will be key, but the mounting challenges suggest that the road ahead will be anything but smooth. With Badenoch ready to pounce and public scrutiny intensifying, today's PMQs could be a defining moment for both Starmer and his party. This is just the beginning, folks. If you're as captivated by these unfolding scandals as we are, make sure to like this video, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. From Tulip Siddiq's shock resignation to the Chagos Islands controversy, the drama is far from over, and we'll bring you every explosive twist and turn.